So today we're driving into something, well, it's incredibly ambitious. We're looking at how, in the face of just immense challenges, Ukraine is thinking way beyond just recovery. We're talking about a plan that harnesses fundamental science, from the nano level up, to build a future that isn't just rebuilt, but is technologically sovereign. All right, let's get right into it.
The entire vision really kicks off with this one powerful question. Think about it. It's not about stone walls and moats anymore. Nope. Today, being resilient, being strong, it means something completely different. It's all about securing your energy, your data, your infrastructure, and your future with technology. And that leads us to a really radical new concept.
And this visual just nails that concept. This is the Intramarium Digital Fortress. It's this big strategic vision for a regional alliance, but one that's built for speed. The whole idea is to junk the slow, old bureaucratic models and replace them with what they call high-velocity techno-alliances. It's about creating a secure space for innovation, for defense, for energy. You could almost see it as an early blueprint for what some people are calling a network state, where a nation's real strength comes from its tech and social networks, not just its geography.
Okay, so a vision that big, that grand, it has to start somewhere, right? Somewhere tangible. You can't just build a digital fortress if the actual physical foundations of your country are shaky. And that brings us down to the very first, most critical building block, the massive, urgent job of reconstruction.
And here is the reality on the ground. When you've got thousands of damaged buildings, bridges, and power plants, how do you even know what's safe to use? How can you monitor the stress on a bridge in real time while you're trying to fix it? And here's the kicker. How do you do all of this with a domestic solution, without getting locked into buying super expensive foreign systems? So this isn't just a technical problem. It's a question of national self-sufficiency.
The answer they've come up with is a project called Smart Infrastructure of Resilience. Now, the key phrase here, the really interesting part, is closed-loop system. What that means is they're creating everything in-country, from the deep science of the nanocrystal sensor itself all the way to the finished monitoring device that gets installed. You can almost think of these sensors like microscopic nerve endings for a building, able to feel stress and temperature changes from right inside the concrete. It's all about owning that entire technological pipeline, from start to finish. Now, a project this complex, you can't do it alone. It's not something one company or one lab can just pull off. So, what they did was bring together a kind of dream team, a consortium of 4 key organizations, with each one playing a very specific, very vital role in the whole mission. So the magic is really in how these different pieces fit together. You've got IHN, the science brains, bringing this world-class expertise in nanophysics. They're the ones actually creating the tiny sensors. Then you have NDIBK, the engineers, who know exactly how to stick these sensors into concrete and monitor buildings in the real world. They make the science practical. After that, ICF EDEN comes in as the social partner, connecting the tech to communities, raising funds. And finally, you have ProtoFund, the accelerator, whose job is to take a lab prototype and figure out how to mass produce it. It's a perfect chain, really, from pure science right into society. So how does this dream team actually work day to day? Well, the workflow is just super logical. Step 1, the physicists at IHN cook up these new little semiconductor sensors. Step 2, the engineers at NDIBK figure out how to get them inside the concrete and hook them up to monitoring systems. Step 3, ProtoFund builds the actual hardware and software to collect and make sense of all the data. And finally, Step 4, it all gets rolled out into the real world, starting with pilot projects in the communities that need it the absolute most.
And look, this isn't just some cool idea on a whiteboard. Nope, this is a fully planned out project with a clear timeline. It's designed from the ground up to deliver real results, and fast, with a huge focus on the economic and strategic payoff for the country.
The whole roadmap is laid out over just 18 months. The first phase, months 3 to 6, is all about R&D, basically taking these delicate lab sensors and making them tough enough to survive inside wet concrete. Then the next phase is all testing and development, running trials and building the electronics. And the final phase, months 12 to 18, is when it gets really exciting. They take it out into the field onto actual reconstruction sites to prove that it works. It's a super fast track from the lab to real life.
And here it is. This one number. This is the economic headline. This is the figure that makes this whole project not just innovative, but strategically brilliant.
The results they're expecting are just, well, they're impressive. Scientifically, they're breaking new ground in how to measure physical stress. In practice, they're going to have a working demo system, But economically, that 40% cost reduction compared to huge foreign competitors like Bosch or Siemens, that is a total game changer. It means they're creating a high-value domestic product that doesn't just spend money on rebuilding, but actually builds Ukraine's own tech industry in the process.
Okay, so let's zoom back out for a second. This project, these tiny little nanosensors being put into concrete, it's about so much more than just construction. They're a single practical step in what is a much, much bigger philosophical shift for the entire nation.
And this, right here, is the heart of it all. The goal isn't just to get back to how things were. It's to use this moment, this challenge of reconstruction, to leapfrog ahead, to build a completely new model of self-sufficiency. It's about making that transition from being just a consumer of foreign tech to being a creator of your own domestic innovation.
This quote from their own strategy document just sums it up perfectly. The ultimate goal here is to move away from a history of being dependent on others and move toward a future as a self-sovereign network state, a nation whose strength is built on flexible, decentralized, technologically advanced systems that it actually controls.
Which really leaves us with this final, fascinating question. By weaving together fundamental science with practical engineering and this big vision for self-sufficiency, is Ukraine actually creating a brand new blueprint for what national resilience even looks like in the 21st century? A model that, other nations might one day end up following. It really suggests that the strongest fortress you can possibly build is one made not of bricks, but of ingenuity.